There was a man who was very rich. He had all the money in the world and he had millions of rands in the bank. One day he decided to tell his son, let us go to the village. We are going to see poor people. And they took on a journey on a jeep and they drove to a far place. And they arrived in the village. When they arrived, it was around 6:30 in the evening. And the village people were sitting around a bonfire, singing, dancing, and reciting poetry. As they were sitting there, they were having meal in big bowls, and they were sharing the meal. The next morning, as they wake up, the boy started hearing the sound of cows and goats and chickens and everything around the village lifestyle. He saw young men, busy looking after the sheep, and others were milking the cows and the goats, and they were preparing them cheese, and they were preparing them fresh milk and fresh food. The women were coming from the field, gathering some vegetables and fruits to come and serve and cook and serve a meal. And as everything was unfolding, days were going by, and the day to go back home came. That old man who was rich asked his son, did you see poor people? Did you see how these people are poor? The young man said, Dad, you are wrong. These people are not poor because they don't live in boundaries. Their houses are not surrounded by gated security. Their houses are just houses, and these people are able to eat together. These people are sitting and they depend on the light of the moon from God himself. They make fire and they share their food. They've got more animals than we do. We only have 2 dogs and they have multiple dogs. We only have few animals, but they have a lot. So actually, Dad, we are the most poorest people on earth, because when we sleep, we are always afraid, but they are sleeping among their people. We only live 4 of us in the family, but they are living among their family. What does that story tell you? The story tells you that we are a community of people. It does not matter where we come from, but what is important is that we are going to succeed one day. Yes. As I'm going to talk about these 7 principles, number 1 principle, you need to win your money. I always say to people, if you can't win your money, you have lost your day. If you have lost your day, then you lose your week. If you lose your week, you lose your month. And if you lose your month, you lose your year. But the problem is you sleep as if you're competing with the dead. You need to understand that time is very important. It is very important to understand that when you win your money, a person who's determined to succeed does not sleep for 8 hours. We are like to say you must sleep 8 hours. Rich people don't sleep for 8 hours. Billionaires don't sleep for 8 hours. They sleep maximum 6 hours. Number 2, have a hunger for success. You gotta be hungry to succeed in life. The only thing, because when you are hungry, you want to eat again. But the important thing is that you need to be hungry for success. You need to tell yourself that when it comes rain or sunshine, one thing about myself is that next year, this time, I'll be in university. Yes. The 3rd point, have a clear vision. I always say, the clearer you can see a target, the likely you can hit it. I grew up looking after sheep and goats, and I grew up getting to. Let me tell you, there is a skill to kill a bird. Over the record, you must be able to aim at the target. And the clearer you see the target, you are likely to hit it. That's why it is very important to have a clear vision. All of us here have got eyes to see, but eyes with vision are rare. The next point, be patient with yourself. I always say life is made of a slow cooker, not a microwave. Life is made of a slow cooker, not a microwave. You got to decide in your life and be patient with yourself. I always say, if you hurry, you end up in Harare. And if you rush, you end up in Russia. So, the next point, have the right kind of attitude. Your attitude will determine your altitude. How far you go in life is solely dependent on your attitude. An attitude is likened to a flat tire. If the car becomes flat, the tire of a car becomes flat. If you don't change it, you can't go anywhere. The same applies to your attitude. Your attitude about life, your attitude about your studies, your attitude about your teachers, your attitude about your parents, and your attitude about your community. It determines how far you go in life. The next point. Learn from failure. Failure is not a person, but failure is a process. Whether we fail once, we fail twice, we fail 3 times, all we have to do is to dust ourselves up, get up, and still focus on the journey. It doesn't mean that if you're in a marathon and you fall, you can't rise up and still win the marathon. There is a young man who was in a race of marathon. On the first lap, as they were doing, with the one who jumped the hurdles, it was a hurdle marathon. On the first hurdle, he fell. But he came up and he started running, and that young man won the race. What is important there was determination. He was determined to win. I always say, winners never quit, and quitters never win. My next point as I wrap up. Time management. What? Time management. If you don't manage time well, time will mismanage you. Why do I say that? You are given 86,400 seconds in a day, 31,500,000 seconds in a year. The question is, how do you spend each second? If you give your time to alcohol, the results will be clear. If you give yourself to mjolo, the results will be clear. But let me tell you, everything in life has got repercussions. Everything in life has got results. Everything in life has got feedbacks. In psychology, we say there are no failures, but there are feedbacks. The question is, how ready are you and how prepared are you to succeed? I always say the sky is not the limit, for there are footprints on the moon. If you fall, make sure that you fall amongst the stars. If you fall, you can aim for the moon, but when you fall, fall among the stars, because the best is yet to come. Thank you.